Good evening, Free Enterprise Uno, the Prime, the people out there in the internet, in the world. I'm Nitsky, also known as Nitsy. Joining me in the booth is my number one partner, as always, Judge Joe. Judge Joe, how you doing tonight?
Very good. I'm excited for this race. Always fun to watch four different runners go at a seed and kind of just see all the different ways they can go about it. Lots of different fun things. Always happy to see a white mage, even if they're the hero. At least you have a white mage.
This is true. So we do have our four runners running the same seed. The race on the top is Scythe Marshall versus Beauty and Discovery. And on the bottom is One Free Fist versus Scarcer. And because we have Dassets rolling the seed, we're going to give you a hook and we're going to give you our big best boy Tella. And good luck to our runners.
Woohoo! More blink casters, my favorite.
Can't have enough blink in this flag set. That's something I've learned. Just to go over our required objectives for those of you who may be new here. In this flag set, we do have the 5 required objectives. You've got to kill the king of the town of the monsters, the queen of the town of the monsters. Go up to Cave Value, also known as Cave Bahamut. Go down and kill the boss at the Mazamune altar. Forge a legend sword if you're lucky. And our 3 bonus objectives: clear out the sealed cave. Love that Luca key. Find the sand ruby. Love finding the sand ruby. And burn this down, so you need a package. So 3 extra key items required. What do you think about that, Judge Joe?
Uh, I've definitely seen seeds with a lot more. These aren't terrible objectives. Currently, to our knowledge, we might not be going to the moon if the key items are showing up in the right way. With that sand ruby and burn mist, it's going to be important to keep in mind if you go and burn mist, you have to get that character before you can do the sand ruby.
Very important. I learned something today. You're always learning something new about this randomizer. So definitely good, as we do see our runners doing what I just want to call the traditional plays here. Going to get loot because, surprise, all money in the chests in this flag set, it is team money. So that means instead of having an amazing item like a defense sword or a white spear or a ribbon, you get its gold equivalent. So that's kind of fun. So you got to go shopping. A little more shopping involved. S Wild on the shop, so could be great stuff like we see Black Robe there on Fitz's side, and Lunar Staff, Ninja Sword, Rune Axe. Maybe good for later depending on who comes along in the seed. With the hook, though, we could definitely go underground and check that character there. And there is a key item in one of these trap chests as well, which is why you see Scarcer there opening up these chests, even though they seem a bit out of the way, because he's looking for those 2 sailmen. They might have a key item. They might have a sand ruby. They might have a cabin. Who knows for sure?
Yeah, you're definitely not going to be able to take them on now. You may have this party doesn't particularly have any sort of true offenses yet. It could definitely get going with Herald Robe, Artemis bows, or even Power Staff for light damage. But until you start finding those things, you aren't exactly going to be clearing stuff. So this is an easy access to a free character right at the start, and looks like we have another blink caster.
Everybody's real favorite white mage. Give it up for Porum. Remember,
Yeah.
Porum on their bingo card. Mark that down. As noted in chat, Gauntlet and Miss Cave, that is a little disappointing. Our runners will be more than happy to find that D-Mist is not there. Well, they'll be a little sad that he's not there, but a little happier that Gauntlet's there. So boo to us as the audience. Because we also have no free characters on this flag set, D-Mist is in play. D-Mist, you kill D-Mist, and then you go see Rydia's mom, and she gives you a fun key item. Could be a cabin, could be a Luca key, could be a darkness crystal. Here's hoping for it to be a darkness crystal.
Yeah, with Demus being a boss hunt for a key item rather than just even a trap or a regular check, you never do know where it's going to be. Uh, with these with these objectives being all pretty much they don't lead to anything else, Sealed Cave does, except for we have the warp glitch, which if you complete Dwarf and cast Warp, you get the key item in Sealed Cave without having to complete it. We have Tella, so we have that available. So none of these these objectives are likely to lead to any other objectives, which could prove interesting on where they all lie, but means the dreams of any sort of hard required demist are going to be very limited.
That is for sure. Also, chat, thank you so much for helping us out. We greatly appreciate you being here. Wyvern hiding, having a bath in the waterfalls. So for those of you going, hey, maybe Wyvern will be in a spicy spot where he casts charm, because that's never happened before. Sadly, we won't find out this time. But that's okay. We do see our runners running around here. We have Fritz going into Damsian. Looks like he's gonna get himself ye old hovercraft so that he can go to Eblan Cave, see if there's maybe spike a Cecil. He might be thinking maybe spike a Keen, maybe spike an Edge. In this case, it's gonna be another white mage, but that's okay. Going around, it looks as though Beauty and Discovery is gonna head into Eblan Castle. There are 4 trap chests. Or is it 3?
Three trap chests in Edlin. There's the one with 3 Mad Ogres, one with 2 Black Cats and a Lamia, and one with 4 skeletons and a Stale Man.
Thank you so much for that. It's so hard. There are so many trap chests that there aren't really that many, but so much hype, so much excitement. I sometimes forget what's what. I always confuse the 4 in Lore Babel and the 3 in Eblan. I think that's where I get it from. And we do see there are some cabins here on the overworld in the Troya gift shop, as I like to call it.
So far, I've seen lots of decent armor, Zeus gauntlets, sorcerer robes, some tents, life potions, cabins, lots of very nice things. But I have not managed to catch any runner finding a good set of bow or arrows, which I think is the big thing these runners are looking before they go and start doing fights.
You want either Murder Porum or Murder Rosa to be online. Definitely very important there in regards to that. It is important though to pick up that extra money. So Scarcer going into the bushes in Mist Cave, or sorry, not Mist Cave, in Mist Village. Gonna pick up that black robe, maybe find a black mage somewhere. You could throw it on to Tella, but it's not really gonna do that much.
Beauty has managed to find the elven bows over in Agart, I believe. That's along with black belts. So I don't know if we have black belts, but as long as we have some arrows with the elven bows, that will get us through some checks. We want something a little better than white arrows, unless we're against Dark Elf. Dark Elf hates anything holy related.
That he does. Tell your friends. Also, just wanted to point out that definitely very important matches for both or all 4 of our runners. As Scythe Marshal's team, What's the Big Ordeals is currently 1 and 2 going into this week, and Big Chocobo Storage Wars, represented by Beauty and Discovery, also 1 and 2. So they are fighting to remain relevant in the tournament, and you don't want to go 1 and 3. I'm sure nobody wants to go 1 and 3, but definitely a lot at stake there. Also, on the bottom side, One Free Fist versus Scarcer, Big Trouble in Little Kaipo. They are 2 and 1, and Bring Your Own Bacchus for Scarcer is also 2 and 1. They want to maintain their leads there in regards to that. As we do see up on Mount Hobbs, I believe that is, Iridia with everybody's favorite Biden.
Iridia is always a good find in this flag set. With S Wild, well, not every weapon and not every armor is going to be found in a seed. There's just too many, can't fit them all in all the shops. There is going to be every single item, and that includes the Bahamut Orb, which is definitely the thing that sets Rydia apart from Palm in this flag set, is just the guaranteed Bahamuts.
Absolutely. Looks as though Fritz so forgot that once you cast a spell on Baigan, he gets very defensive and casts Wall on himself. And unfortunately, that Thor Rage bounced back and killed Rosa. And I would, if I'm him, I give it another whirl, but he doesn't. I'm more of a bang your head against the seed kind of runner. So I definitely respect this play. Definitely not going on tilt there. He's going to try and probably get some better weapons for his crew there. But Rydia, yeah, you get 85,000. You can buy yourself the Bahamut summon, and you're almost off to the races at that point, I would say.
Yeah, at that point, grab a stack of ethers. You have 3 people whose one job is to cast Blink on Rydia, and I guess themselves. And then you can just go and blow up almost every boss in the game at that point. With the Rydia, that does mean a Dancing Dagger is another weapon that can give us some early power. Should do about 250 to 400 damage. Counts as a spell, but it doesn't get reflected by wall, so would be a big help if you end up buying one for this Baigan fight.
Absolutely. Could not agree 100% more, Judge Joe. That's the play I would make. So we do see some of our runners running around the shops, probably saying, geez, where's that Dancing Dagger? Where's that gear? Where can I just get something to take down this boss and kind of move along the seed, because I want Rydia, and she's super useful. She's very OP in this flag set. Even in Scythe Marshal's case, if Rydia goes down, that's fine. We want to just get through this battle. She can get levels through other means very, very quickly. While her HP doesn't scale a whole heck of a lot, her MP scales immensely good. And it looks as though Scythe Marshal will be through there. Obedience Discovery is going to look, and I believe that was my friend Donkey Kong Cecil sitting in the bed. So hopefully we run into the Sad Ruby there.
Yeah. So that Sand Ruby has the little bonus of a probably good character. It all depends on whether or not you end up going to Ordeals. Gets tell his spells, could be very helpful, but it is 3 bosses, can be a little slower early. With Trap Chest, there's a lot more early games, so it's less likely to be as just required at the start, but you never know.
That's absolutely right, Judge Joe. You never know what could be on Ordeals. Ordeals could spike a monster. Ordeals could have the Magma Key. Ordeals could have a cabin. Ordeals could have a Moonveil. Moonveil actually not that terrible on this flag set, because I don't know if you've noticed in these shops, all of our J items have taken a nap. So J items are definitely at a premium here. They can be stolen with our best friend Edge, based on the enemy that he runs into, but getting some of those items is actually quite useful in this case. So we do see Fitz just doing some more looting here, as we have Scarcer and Beauty and Discovery trying to take down this Baigan. They have 4 characters each. I think they should be through there. Scarcer looks as though the left arm at the worst case scenario does explode, and maybe one person dies here. Yeah.
Oh, that's such unfortunate targeting. The one person it could kill, and it chose that person. But that'll be Scarcer as the second person, I believe, to go and get the Rydia.
I believe so. Looks as though Beauty and Discovery not too far behind there, as we do have Sand Marshal giving us everybody's favorite check, the Antlion Cave. And who do we see in the cave? We see some red imps.
Very happy to find that here.
But as a viewer, I hate to see them here because in the right spot, these dark imps are actually quite super dangerous. In this spot, you have 1,000 HP split amongst the three of them. They hit like they're like babies, really, and it makes it very sad. You see them in a place like, you know, at the end of the Sealed Cave, they can hit hard. In Leviathan spot, they can hit hard. In K Bahamut, they can hit hard, but here they're just run of the mill ones, basically with a lot of extra HP.
And the big Bahamut Rydia is the solution to them at a later area just because it's such large AoE damage, but the big reason they can prove such a threat in later areas, normally in many seeds you could just cast stone, throw coffins, use an hourglass, but in the potion party we are still operating with no free bosses. So all of those easy solutions, any enemy that's weak to all those status effects, any enemy that'll just kind of just have to survive a little bit, then it'll take itself out. None of that stuff is going to be happening. So it makes some fights that would normally be easier a lot harder. The one that I think gets the biggest upgrade in certain spots is Dark Knight Cecil.
For sure. And for everybody who's part of Team Fate Antlion, you definitely would be losing out on this seed as the Magma Key was down being held by Antlion all along. So um, definitely a very good Antlion cave. Easy enemy, easy underground access now for Scythe Marshal. About 15 minutes in, so definitely will be very fast. Scarcer will quickly catch up. Now, just as a reminder to everybody, it is the top runners racing against each other and the bottom runners racing against each other. They're running the same seed, and that's to make mine and Judge's life a whole lot easier, and our trackers as well in regards to that. So we appreciate that. So just to delineate who they're actually racing against here in regards to that.
Yep. And we see Beauty going, instead of heading left, we see Beauty heading right with the life and orb for that Rydia. That should prove very nice for the rest of this overworld. And until we find Bahamut, that's probably what we'll be seeing Rydia do for the next long while.
Absolutely. We do see one prefix also heading Fabul first. Jojo, question for you in regards to this flag set. What's your strategy on the old double dip Fabul here, as we like to call
Just
it?
do Fabul. The early XP is always good. No reason for me to fade it. Yeah, you can go and get the pan, but even Sheila 1, it takes a lot of walking to go and do that. So I like to try and route in some checks together, but overworld I like to just clear the overworld. You never know what order your opponent's doing the overworld in, so I always do like to do what I can there to make sure that whatever's on the overworld, I have it, even if my opponent's, whether or not my opponent does or doesn't have that item.
I would tend to agree. I route in Fabul early because it just routes in early into my checks, and you get out of the way. And if it's great, awesome. If not, if you get a glass hat, like was shown to us, you get a glass hat. It's not a bad item either. It's better in the cabin.
I mean, until you get to the truly punching in the back row, having someone with a glass hat is as close as having someone with a moon veil as you can get without the moon veil. It's a lot of defense doubled in the back row, so you can, with just a little bit of other gear, shrug off a lot of punchy spots up until you get to the truly highest tier spots like Leviathan or Cave Value.
Speaking of Leviathan, looks as though I must have missed that there's always so much action going on with all four screens. Beauty and Discovery picked up a Leviathan summon and just washed the Dark Imps away. Now, if you can't find a Bahamut, Leviathan's a very close second. It's a little bit less blargy, A little bit less, but still gets the job done.
Mylon Z's also, it Infable is always a good fight to find early. If you bought Cure 3s, that'll do a lot of damage. Even Cure 2s will do 250 to 400 damage to Mylon Z. Plus, it's weak to bows, which is this party's primary actual normal damage, so there's lots of ways to make the Mylon Z fight pretty easier for this party.
Absolutely. For this party, I would agree. Just make sure, even though he doesn't look like he's flying, he's actually flying. So Quake does not work. Tell your friends. Update your social media of choice. As we get our first look at Baron Inn, it looks as though Sid is just hanging out at the bar. His best buddy in the world, Ruby. Again, another sad boss to see on the overworld, especially in this spot. Makes me sad. How about you, Judge Joe?
I mean, this spot's pretty fast, so if you don't do, yes, it doesn't have health, but if you don't do, as you can see, it will get your party in a weaker situation. Ruby can be very interesting. With the characters we've seen, we don't have the best solutions necessarily, but Hela's Ice 3s, Rydia casting spells, both of those can go and really push through Ruby, has been my experience. Hallam is the best character for Ruby in this flag set, but with 6 of 7 characters already seen, I don't know that we're going to find a Hallam this seed.
And lucky for Beauty and Discovery, picking up that Leviathan. Be able to. Oh, not quite. We'll see what Spicy CPU has in store. He's going to pass my favorite computer program, the Globe 199, and do just a little bit of damage. We'll see. I believe he's got 3,000 in this spot, so really close. If Beauty and Discovery can just get through. Come on, Chocobo.
We have a lot of life potions. It's not a fast spot. Chocobo will do damage. Even if it took another, even if you had to get through the orbs, I don't think we were going to be in any danger of truly wiping that fight. And there's the spoon. Now, if we find Edward as character number 7, that could be very helpful. Or even if we find Edge, that's the best start, which can really push through some of the tougher fights if you need to DPS race them.
Yes.
And we see Fitz getting through, and that means all runners will now. Woohoo!
Spicy. Also, Scarcer was nice enough to check the Tamra job dwarf, and he is a sales manager. I don't know what he's doing, managing a bunch of empty treasure chests, but maybe he's just selling the empty treasure chests for surplus. Who knows? As we do have Fitz doing west hubs, and we do see Scarcer does find where that trap chest is and marks that for future reference, so he will probably loot all of the other chests now that he knows where that is, because again, gold is good and greed is good, so we want to get as much as we can, because we might not be powerful enough to take care of those warriors just at the moment.
Yeah, if you're able to go and heal up, get an hourglass off, if you have Leviathan, 2 casts of that at this point will get through, or even 1 cast with some just little extra shooting from your other party members. But you do have to be able to survive the initial barrage, which can be tricky, but if you have enough people in the back row with some decent armor, is definitely doable.
I would agree 100% on that, as we do see Scythe Marshal getting through with his Leviathan, getting his glass hat. Beauty and Discovery is going to throw key down a well. Maybe Timmy O'Toole will pick it up for us and let us know how to get out, perhaps. as members in chat say, a Levia, an hourglass, and a dream. And it looks as
And
though music in the cave, maybe the darkness crystal is behind that, maybe required music, who knows, maybe not required music, but definitely a key item to add to the list. You love to see it, and we will see soon who is at the king and queen spot. I'm going to assume that he's at least going to chat and then go yay or nay.
you have with an exit caster, there's not it's not too far out of your way. Always good to get preparatory information. If it's a demist, you know that there actually could be a key item behind one of these spots. With we only currently have the main spots and the trap chests having key items at the moment. So all of these Feymarch and Moon bosses, they are just there for objectives. They're never, unless demist, going to give you further progression. So it's good information for now, and then you can come back when you're ready to finish.
For sure. And Spicy Sheila 1 having the legend sword there on Scythe Marshall's side. So you'll have to see that. It looks as though it's Val in the queen spot and
Ooh.
Waterhag. Ooh, who,
Ooh.
as you can see there, Waterhag does not play around. On no free bosses, depending on where Waterhag can be a real pain in the butt because he gets Leviathan's HP and he really likes to pack a punch because for whatever reason, even though in the vanilla game there's no physical cast there, the programmers just said, you know what, crank up physical to 11, or in this case, it's some obscene number. I don't think it's 255, but it's an obscenely large number for a spot that has no physical attack. So what definitely hurts there, as you can see. So we'll see, maybe our runners coming back to that, just because at this point it might be a little bit difficult to chew through that damage, given our current party. Interesting that they are fading Dwarf Castle at this point.
It,
what do you think
the
about that,
first
Judge
part of
Joe?
Dwarf can be real difficult. At these levels, unless we have some very strong defensive gear, we don't have any source of berserk. We're shooting. I don't know that Scarcer necessarily has Leviathan yet. That first fight, the second fight only punches mediumly hard and has 3000, but that first spot, it has pretty solid magic, it has pretty solid physical. The only thing it doesn't have is a lot of speed, so but at our current levels, it's more than fast enough to prove slightly problematic yet.
Definitely interesting choices from all of our runners here in regards to where they want to go. Looks like Scarcer's gonna check that Sheila 1, do the double dip there. Fabul, you love to see it. Curious that none of them have checked Eblan Castle, just for levels and for potential key items there. It's possible, maybe Dathis was in a hurry and the darkness crystal could be there. It's a non-0% probability, folks. So
I mean, we only need technically 3 key items from this point for go mode. Sand Ruby, Package, and Darkness. Get all 3, you're in go mode. Luca also works as one of those 3, or as we have the Legend Sword on Scythe's side, he just needs 2 of the 4 of Legend of Adamant Rock, Luca Key, Sand Ruby, or Package to go with the Darkness. Or find all 4 and who needs to go to the moon?
absolutely. Looks as though Beauty and Discovery is going to give us our first look at what's in the warrior chest as Leviathan sweeps all of your problems away. Tell being on the ground is great because he's the floor inspector. He doesn't need levels. It's a fun rat tail though. With the hook, that could be the other half of Forge, could be the Darkness Crystal, could be a Mazamune, could be another glass hack, could be a crystal sword, could be just about anything for Beauty and Discovery. You think he's gonna go check that? I think he is. Oh no, he's gonna make a liar out of me, which is totally fine.
Eventually, but while you're down here, you have Warp Caster, you got a influx of XP. Now you could be feeling strong enough to at least give it a go, see what's at the first spot, and then decide, maybe not. But like Power Shirt Runax, that's a pretty strong Sid. Uh his accuracy's not the best, but if you do end up putting him in the center slot, that can help out with that. But and we see Artemis arrows. That's if you for an archer seed, you are very, very happy to find those.
Absolutely. As Scarcer was nice enough to show us that you do get a spell before you get to Dwarf Castle for Rydia when you go on the west side of Hops. Unfortunately, it was a Shura. Sometimes you can spike a Titan, which is really nice. Sylph, which is also really nice. In this case, it was a Shura. So, because we have enough healing as it is. So kind of sad there, but just wanted to point that out.
And the Assassin Dagger is gone, sold to buy a Bahamut. Now Rydia is really ready to start putting out some damage numbers. Pretty much at this point, all Rydia could ask for, Stardust Rod, Tiara for lots for improved damage. If you can get those, then a Heroine Robe, even if it reduces your damage, can help out by increasing Rydia's speed and defense. And that's not a great fight. The explosion at this spot will do a pretty sizable chunk of our party. I believe in the neighborhood of 300 to 400, which can kill a lot of the lower health party members. Sid will get through, but the spot does then have 6 orbs, which can punch pretty sizably. So, as seen by that 460 on Porum in the back row.
Absolutely. It's another seed that I've seen where Bahamut was at Dwarf Castle. I think almost every seed I rolled in practice had Bahamut at Dwarf Castle. So it's definitely interesting to see. But as you can see there, Mom Bomb coming out to play. Mean in business here. It's gonna puff up there. If you could somehow chew through 10k, but as you can see, it's a very fast spot. It's gonna explode. And
is Rydia gonna live?
no, just a little bit outside there.
Although we do see Porum did a lot of evasion, only taking under 100 damage. But now we need to get through this wave of punches so that we can cast Bahamut one more time, or Leviathan.
We'll see. Rosa taking a punch for the team. RNG definitely favoring Beauty and Discovery at this point.
Absolute dream!
Oh my goodness, let's go!
Oh,
Leviathan!
no. If there's a character, I'm pretty sure you get rid of, I think, Tella for that character, simply because you need the extra party member standing to really help ensure Rydia is able to get that Bahamut off against this next spot.
Yeah, it's you're hoping for that, especially against sisters. That is not where you want to see them. Oh no,
that's not a party member. Yes, the Fire 2 isn't going to do much,
but it doesn't need to do a lot when you only have 170.
And we're in the center slot and don't have enough MP, so unless we have some MP restoratives.
Oh, the clutch dodge! How did Rydia dodge that? Oh, that's right, because the magic powder is Rydia. Yeah. Oh my goodness, this is Rydia coming in clutch.
And on
45, wow.
On other runner sides, we see Scarcer heading into Eblan, go those checks for XP, and we see Fitz heading up Ordeals. We'll get the Sesso in bed online. We'll get Tella his spells. First spot's Dr. Luge. Kind of annoying fight, but not problematic at all in this spot.
Definitely not. Definitely not in this case. I'm fixated on this sisters fight. It's very tooth and nail at this point. Rydia with her 140 HP in a dream, she got virus, so that's gonna slowly tick down. That does not help her case, but she heals back up. This is just gonna be a war of attrition, I feel. Now, unfortunately, this game is perfectly programmed, so if Rydia was not in the middle spot and you had enough MP, you could have cast Soph, and it wouldn't actually deduct MP from Rydia, because it's perfectly programmed. Oh wait, I meant the opposite of that.
This Ice 2's going. We have Bahamut Q. Just need to get through this round, and then the fight should be done. And we see back attack King Queen Eblan. It's a free fight, but you still need to go through the effort of working through the damage or working through the HP at the spot because of no free bosses. It's not necessarily something you're happy to see at an easy like this. Less HP, but also fight that never is truly threatening is always one you're happy to find later.
Yes, absolutely. For our runners, if Ordeals definitely has something useful, they would definitely love to see that, as we do see the slowest moving glove in all the history of the world take the crystal away. To where? Who is to know? For how long? Who is to know? And you get a rock from the rat tail. Scythe Marshals.
You called it. It's where you actually. The rat tail is typically sitting in the Feymarch and will lead to the Adamant Rock in normal Final Fantasy IV. But with that, we're going to get either a bow or some arrows for real nice Rosa Pew Pews.
For sure. And on Fit's side, it is a Baron Key, which is potentially a dud, potentially not a dud. If it's Baron Key into darkness, that could still be a thing. It's a Shura here, which is more annoying than anything else. And by annoying, I mean not really annoying at all.
Elven Bow, Mute Arrows.
Yeah.
Both solutions. Still need to do a little bit more damage, but we see Perseus Arrows, which have even more attack than the Artemis Arrows, but instead of being effective against dragons, they're against giant. So expect to potentially see some large numbers rolled against Stalemen and Mad Ogres from that Rosa.
Good to know. I am not familiar too much with Forge from DS weapons. I've never played the FF4 DS game, but that is where those items come from. So
from the Game Boy.
Or sorry, not. I said DS, but I meant Game Boy.
Yep.
Don't listen to me, chat. You're all amazing. While we're seeing some divergence here, just make sure that you do follow our runners. They are bringing together all of this amazing content for you, and without them, it's just me and Judge Joe just talking for an hour and a half about spells and who knows what else.
But from that, from Dwarf, we get the Earth Crystal, large source of money. Find character number 7 for us. Always fun to see which 7 characters are rolled each and every seed. And then Beauty chose to go. Oh, and no, Twin Harp was from Feymarch, but Beauty is choosing to go and take on these trap chests as well, which can prove helpful. And Scythe is going to give us our dream music.
You love to hear it. So this game has, it's I think over 300 randomized songs with DJ Spoonie B, courtesy of our amazing composers, Xenocat and Calmlamity. So we've got a bunch of stuff going on, and we will let Edward take it away as we see DKC at the package.
So that'll be the first objective for Scarcer and Beauty in that case. Or potentially first for Beauty. All depends on when you go. And the reward for music is an X-Cal. Not necessarily what Scythe was going to hope to find, but with knowledge of a Cecil, it's worth keeping its money at the very least if you choose to sell it.
That is definitely true. It's unfortunately probably makes you feel at this point that you're just a little bit behind that ending up in a zonk, but that's as rando. You can be a top runner, and RNG could just say, nah, you know what? I don't think so today. Not today, Mitzi. And there might just be nothing that you can do. Your opponent, as Judge Joe said, turns right when you turn left, and you just happen to get where you need to be. So we do see there was a lot of action going on there. Scarcer was fighting somebody, and Fitz was fighting somebody, and it looks as though Beauty is taking on the Stillman. He's going to wash him away. As we see Scythe going up into the Tower of Zot. Interesting without the Earth Crystal, but he's just going to check what is affectionately now known in the community as Updog. I have no idea where that's come from, but it seems fun.
I mean, it's unfortunate that we know where the Earth together, but the Flame Dog is as likely as any other main check Sheila 1 to have a key item. It's also pretty much the easiest trap chest outside of maybe the eyeballs to go and beat. So as long as you have a good solution for it, shouldn't take more than 2 minutes to really just walk up and see what's in it, which can always reset out. And since we did Twin Harp, you're in the area, so very good reason to just check on that then and there, rather than leaving and coming back late.
Can someone in chat just verify for me? It looked as though it was Edward at Baron Castle on Fitz's side, and Fitz decided, nah, I'm good.
I thought I saw a Sid go and get kicked out, but
Oh, maybe he did get kicked out. I might have missed it. There's so much going on, especially when you got glass hats in the trash there at Baron Castle.
yep, looks like we traded out our Sid we traded out our pile of HP and strength for a Spard with a spoon.
Everybody loves a glass cannon. I know I sure do. And that
It's a
No,
very
I was
interesting choice. There's lots of ways you can build this party. Actually, you have Porum, you have Rosa. Both are good white mages. You have Tella, who can kind of do whatever you need him, but is a little squishy and slower with a limited MP pool. You have Rydia, who, outside of Spoonword, is currently our best source of damage. Sid, a little less damage, but can definitely take some hits, which currently the party is lacking in someone who can do that. We'll have to be relying on all of the Blink casters that we do have. So, with these 7 characters, pretty much any 7 of them, I think, will be a pretty decent pick for the party.
agreed. Question chat, was it a darkness from the Mad Ogre chest? I'll be honest with you, Funnel Cakes. So much high-paced action going on, I did not see. Our runners are obviously speed running, they want to go fast, so that screen was barely up there at all. So I'm not sure if that's the case. I'm sure someone can verify that for us. No, in Upper Babel, Karen, I think that's where. You know what? Never mind. Just pretend I just said nothing there. Just rewind history there. As we do see, Scarcer getting the good news that King Queen Eblan are in a pretty free spot.
Can confirm that it was the Darkness Crystal from the format. So that's another 2 objectives unlocked with the package. That means the moment Beauty turns in turns in Sheila 1 for the Legend Sword, that'll be go mode.
But Dathis, that doesn't mean hard required Darkness Crystal, but it does mean
not.
go mode.
Until we find either a Demist on the moon, or the hairdryers, or the last arm chest holding the Sand Rubies or Luca key, then we won't know for sure if there's hard required darkness or not.
Also, speaking of amazing death, it's a shout out to the Restream team as we're going through here. Myself with Judge Joe, we got Dathis in the background. We got the amazing Garen and the amazing Funnel Cakes eating the buttons, pushing the buttons, making sure everything is great. Make sure that you give everyone a follow. They all deserve your love and support for bringing us all of this amazing content together. Again, it's just me and Judge Joe just talking about Leviathan washing stuff away for an hour and a half.
And Scythe Marshall is doing Dwarf, which we saw Beauty do a while earlier. Has a stronger party, a bit more levels, did a couple different things, so that ensured that the Mom Bomb went just that little bit better for the party, and we were better set up for the Mega Sisters. Getting through it, and that'll be an Earth Crystal for Scythe, which, after having done the Flame Dog, isn't exactly the key item you're going and hoping to find, but you never know.
That's very true. With 2 potential key items, with the warp glitch being on, you definitely want to check. They both have an equal chance of having a key item, even though the one key item is not in logic, but that's okay. Um, it's just what you do. Luca just has this really sweet dragon sphere, so it is actually the warp that will get them that earth crystal. So that is definitely interesting, and we'll see what Scythe Marshal thinks of that as he goes forward. As he's nearing go mode, he just needs to make a left turn there.
And actually, with knowledge that it's the Luca key that has the Earth, that makes it very unlikely to hold value, because the only important key item that we can get left from the Earth Crystal now is the Sand Root. Anything else will not be leading to any objectives, because you can't get the Luca key from an item that was in the Luca key's check.
This is very true. Looks as though Scythe Marshal is going to play the odds and take the lower Babel. Without Tower Key, I definitely don't mind this. There are four chests in here that are relatively easy to do, even with this party. And I could definitely spike one of those other key items. We know where Darkness Crystal is. Scythe does not currently, so he might be thinking it's in here. So it's definitely not a bad check in regards to that, but could potentially hold Luca Key. Could potentially let's see.
Could
What's
hold
left.
Sand Ruby. Again, we still don't know if Darkness is required. If Scythe starts finding Luca and Sand Ruby soon, then all he'll need to be doing is getting that package from Eblan Trap Chests, and can go and, not fight Cave Bahamut, not fight the Masamune Altar. Those are some of the tougher fights in the game. And, well, Waterheg is difficult. We do have some good solutions to dodging it. All it will do is punch. Get it some blinks up and you will be able to get through. The slightly more difficult fight potentially is the Vow, which at that point you just need to hope you have found enough plus strength gear or like heroin robes or whatever, so you can really push through its defenses.
Absolutely. As Scythe Marshal takes down one of the first trap chests, and is rewarded with a crystal sword. I wonder. He's like, where's that Sand Ruby? I could really use a Burr Cecil to do things like Beauty and Discovery is about to do.
And actually, with knowledge that Vow that is pretty good reason to grab the Cecil. You had a strong party that would have been capable of fighting all of these fights, I suspect. But Vow is just kind of that oddity among fights that takes special something to get through, and Cecil is certainly it, so even if you're this one key item from Go mode, it could always be on Ordeals. Beauty doesn't necessarily know, so get the Cecil and you now have someone to clean up those fights that you might have been worried about.
Absolutely, but since Beauty is currently the only one of our runners who was able to spike that Darkness Crystal, I'm just wondering if they are going to check hair dryers. I definitely would not be against this play in regards to that. Do you check last arm chest, Judge Joe, at this point? Since
I do.
in the
I mean, you got Darkness Crystal. If you aren't in Go mode yet, just check those two. Last arm, in many, many cases, it's not that much slower than heading down to check. It's just as likely. And then once you've checked it, it's not that much slower to just walk out or walk out no matter where that chest is. So you can just give it a go, and if it's important, great. If it's not important, well, at least you're back on Earth and can keep on checking other places.
Yep, definitely interesting on Beauty's part that they went down the hook route and got the Darkness Crystal, but if not, hit Yang with a punch and check Sheila 1. So that's definitely interesting from that standpoint. But if this spikes the key item he's looking for, that could all be a moot point. Could be Luke key. We'll definitely see what happens here as he is found the affectionately known hairdryer's chest. So the Prosat and Juiceliot, they have roughly, I believe, 3,000 HP.
A little more than 2,000 in that. I think in that 2,000 3,000 range, not quite. So should be able to just wash them away. It's not life glitching. You can get up to about 50,000 up to. Actually, we have 10 key items, so this would be about 120,000 XP for Cecil or 60,000 for the rest.
And that's going to sling up Cecil quite a few levels, I feel. Only 29, no big deal.
Level 30 Cecil, Crystal Sword, Power Shirt, Bandana, Zeus or Strength Ring. That Cecil is going to start putting out some numbers, get him zerked, get him blinked, and might consider we might see Beauty going and taking on these moon fights while he's there.
Absolutely, and on Scythe Marshal's side, it was Yang controlling the tower the whole time. Tell your friends, update your social medias. It's not difficult here. You know, the burning question on everybody's mind is, where does Yang get that sword from, and how can I equip him with it, and what kind of sword is it? But that being said, shouldn't be too difficult to kind of just chew through here. The kick doesn't do a heck of a lot of damage. The sword hurts a little bit, but when you have Blarg, everything's all nice and reheated. Reheated Yang is always a great dish. As we do see on Beauty's side, he did get a Dragoon Spear for his troubles from the hairdryer chest. And we're going to get our first look at what is in Cape Bahamut. And I hope it's something fun, like an antlion in his natural habitat.
Odin. That's... We have lit arrows. It's not... We don't have the best bow to really utilize those lit... It's going to be a tight race. We don't have that much lightning damage, but with Bahamut, as long as we can get Cecil going and have him not instantly get punched, can probably get through.
Yeah, but with that Cecil down, it's going to be really tough. And especially with your Tella down too. Unfortunately, that blink is...
Tella actually would have been probably 4,000 to 6,000 with his lit 3, which could be the difference between getting through and getting Xantasuken. But yeah, we really need to go and get some damage going if we're going to clear it without having to risk just dodging the Xantasuken rolls.
That's correct, because, we have Iridia blinked. Oh, that should be good. That should be fine. Xantasuken laughs at blink. Just laughs.
Xantasuken is a piercing magic attack like Quake. It goes through walls, it goes through blink, with each blink is only for physical, so you're not getting through Xantasuken without just dodging. We'll see how many people are able to survive at this spot. It's not the strongest magic, but it's not zero.
That's correct. Beauty looking to try Power Overwhelming, Zerk up Cecil, but there you see Odin. Oh, and we have some survivals, so definitely advantage Beauty as we see some more Blarg. I believe that Blarg will be enough. Nope.
There's like 37. We've only 3 or 4, so we still have about 15,000, a little less now that Cecil's going. Cecil looks like he had the HP, and then Porum and Iridia managed to dodge a roll to just barely sneak by. Oh no.
Except Odin doesn't like that Cecil's alive and punches him. Let's see if this Bahamut is enough to take care of business. A little bit of TCB, and it
And
is.
does.
Whew, that got my heart going for a little bit there.
And we're about to go and see what sort of value lied behind power via the pan, and we see nothing. Just a couple of arrows that were lying around from Sheila's younger years.
Yeah, not even arty arrows. Sheila too having the samurai arrows. You almost want to see a cabin there, chat. You almost want to see a cabin there. We do have a bit of a crisscross here. We do see Scythe Marshal is going to go back underground and check that that upper Babel, which is lower Babel, but not looks as though, and we'll pick up the darkness crystal there. As we do see, if you love first Rydia, who doesn't love second Rydia? So that means we're still not without our seventh character, I believe.
Yes, we've seen Baron. That means it's either Zot or the giant that holds the seventh character, and with those being locations, I don't think we're going to be seeing the seventh character this season. You never know, but I believe we'll be seeing Beauty going and doing Sheila 1 before we see Beauty doing Zot.
Absolutely, I would agree. But with this team that you have, or this team that you can have between Edward and Cecil, getting him powered up, you have you're a
Oh
little
wait,
low.
Edward is the seventh character. That's right.
Oh, Edward was the seventh character. That's right. I totally forgot. So yeah, with the party that we have, I think you're still sufficiently good there between DPS on the front end and white magic on the back end. A little lacking. I mean, you got Rydia. She can blarg stuff, but non-blarg, a little bit weak in terms of black magic. But that's okay.
And we're seeing Scythe heading down. This will get him his Darkness Crystal. However, he still needs to go and take a little stop by Eblan for the package, or figure out where a different form of go mode will be to manage to make his way there. We also see Scarcer heading down that. Scarcer is missing both parts of Forge, which means would need to do the Warriors for the Rat Tail and Sheila 1. Which, speaking of Warriors, Fitz now has the Rat Tail and just needs to turn that in Sheila 1 for the Forge objective, at which point would just need to go and get Darkness.
Yep, as we do see Beauty and Discovery, it's going to make the final walk down to the glass floor and the Masamune altar, also known in vanilla as the Ogopogo spot. This spot is definitely dangerous. Almost any enemy here is tough. It's got to be amongst the toughest, except for Pale Dim. I mean, he's gonna hit.
Well, if you were willing to take a reset now, then you'd be able to go and float your part that still be able to cast summons. But at this spot, Rydia is now just going to be either a virus caster, a Nashura wielder, or a life potion thrower, because you don't want to see Quake. And Pale Dim looks at a summon and decides, if you're gonna do that, he's gonna Quake you.
See, and if I'm Beauty, and I know it's tough for me and you know, being in the booth and everything, on the fly, I have telecast float. I know he knows the spell, and that gets me around his summon counter in regards to that. If you can remember. So I totally get him not remembering and thinking, oh my god, blink, because he's gonna hit hard, which he'll, it's he's not going to tickle in this spot, but
I mean, you have Cecil going, so all you do need to do is keep up those blinks. But if you want Rydia to push that extra bit more, you're gonna need to be able to start flying.
yeah. But I mean, hey, again, that's me in the booth. He decides to go with virus, which is not a bad choice either. Pale Dim seemed to have forgotten that that virus is a thing. So he he doesn't seem to care that she cast
Yeah.
virus.
Paladin decided to spec against the elemental magic, choosing to absorb them, and summons with his counter. However, that still leaves him weak to non elemental stuff such as Virus, Quake, and Nuke, or White, which is wholly elemental.
This is very true, as you see that CISO swinging away for 5k. And we do see Fitz trying to get through a Water Hag. I definitely applaud this move. It's sometimes you gotta take some risks in this randomizer to get ahead, and if you can spike down Water Hag here somehow, I don't see it happening, but
This
please
party
please
can
prove
get
me wrong.
through, but you're going to need to take a little bit to just really cycle life potions. If they're not casting blink, they need to be going and resurrecting someone on the floor. Once you get a couple blinks out, then you can go and get your Cecil, get your Edward zerked, at which point you should have some people zerked, some people blinked, and all that's left at that point is to just keep up the blinks and you'll get through the fights. We have everyone blinked. I think that's two charges on everyone, so get that Cecil zerked and should be able to get through the fight, it looks like.
I believe that Cecil's already zerked. I could be wrong, but it looks as though he's just acting of his own accord there. As we do see Beauty finishing off our fourth objective. I didn't see what the item was. It wouldn't be a key item, but he's definitely done with that and done with the moon. And is probably very happy in that case, as he is so close to go mode. He just needs to remember about Sheila 1. And hopefully he has enough to take down those two bosses. Again, looks as though Fitz has figured it out and is slowly just going to be able to chop down Water Hag here at this spot, and then we'll just have Valvalis to deal with. Thankfully, Valvalis has a lot less HP, or the Queen of the Fey March has a lot less HP. I believe it's 25,000.
Yeah, it's rather than being in the high 30s, it's in the lower 20,000s for the Ashura spot. It punches a little less hard, has less health, but it is faster and can cast stronger magic, so that's where its threats can lie.
I definitely agree with you there, and it looks as though Fitz showing its outstanding, getting that cast off and getting some fun arrows in his first objective, and taking the lead in terms of objectives over Scarcer. Not that Scarcer is that far behind. Both races are still incredibly close and incredibly tight, and it's still anybody's race, even 1 hour and 8 minutes into the match.
Yeah. Beauty is taking the tower. It didn't hold anything important, but it did hold the pan, which you're going to want to chase, which will guide Beauty to getting the Legend Sword. So that means Scythe's on a little bit of a time limit to finding his last objective, and it is going to really need to push through these fights fast. Stay in. There's still time because tower takes a while, but it's getting a little tighter window.
Agreed, Wylam. Fitz is definitely taking the high variance play here. But you know what they say: go big or go home. And Edward with 1 HP does the same amount of damage as Edward with 438 HP. So you love to see that weak cast going to him as well. Unfortunately, Cecil covering him is taking a little bit of damage, but Horn was able to get that blink up. So as long as he does that, I think they're going to be good to go from here in regards to that.
Looks about to discover that Bahamut does not work on Val in this spot, but there's other uses for Rydia. If we have heal pots, if we have tear pots, if we have life potions, all of those will be good things to use, and can meanwhile just leave the spoon and sword to deal with the spinny lady.
Absolutely. It's tough to remember sometimes, and there's a chart, I believe it's in the free enterprise wiki at FF4FE wiki or wiki.ff4fe.com that will give you what the magic power is for Val at every single spot and her magic defense, more importantly, because as you saw there, uh, Val at this spot laughs at Bahamut and says, "Run away. I don't need you here." And Bahamut goes, "Okay, I'm sorry, I tried." Thank you so much to our amazing chatter, Scholar Kitty. Thank you for that new chat and for popping up that wiki command. It's greatly appreciated. So again, some close races on the top and the bottom here as we see Beauty at the top of the tower, taking out this Yang eventually, and we do see Scythe Marshall popping into the ribbon room. Very interesting choice here. I wonder if it's just an XP play here. What do you think about this? Yeah, not with the guards.
With Bahamut, it's doable, but I don't think it's time to go. There's also the possibility that Scythe is well, it looks like he's heading to Trap Chest, so is looking for XP. I was gonna say there's also the possibility that Scythe's feeling very behind for whatever reason and is looking to maybe find a D-Mist up here, but no, it looks like it's gonna be for XP based on how we're doing treasure chests.
Yeah. Oh. And now when you want to find a trap chest, they can know where to be found. There we go. It's
Oh,
Warlock Carry. You got
if we
some
have any
mute bells.
hourglasses, oh, we have lots of.
Yeah, so we got mute bells here. Shouldn't be too bad. You get oh, maybe not. Oh no, there we go. As we do see Scarcer actually going up into Zot and runs into the elements here, which will be pretty tame fight for our current party between Cecil and Edward. They're gonna go. Elements aren't. It's not an extremely fast spot here. And as it cycles through there, basically the ATB resets for the enemy in regards to that. So I don't think we've actually seen an attack, and there we go.
And with it being from Luca, the only key items we're looking for from it is to be that. Otherwise, the tower key is another item that could potentially hold value, but the rest of the items we've either found or it's the pink tail, which could be nice, could be a moon veil, which would make that water hag pretty easy, but we don't know. And it looks like Beauty has the pan, but is now taking on some trap chests on the way to bonking Ying.
Definitely an interesting play there. And on the top of Zot, we have a Sid and a Tella, which we already knew were going to be duplicates in the seed because we've seen all 7 characters. But we will see who. Um, although Scarcer may not have known that, but he does now.
Scarcer has the Baron key and has the Edward, so we'll have seen. Oh, this Demus can't be the Luca key, but that's two chances getting the Sand Ruby now, as opposed to just the one chance, which that makes it just that better, that little bit better set of odds of hitting go mode for Scarcer this check.
Sorry about that, Scar. It's my first day here. I appreciate your patience and understanding. It not only helps me do my job, it helps me do my job better. He missed going down like a sack of potatoes. You love to see it. We will see what item we get from here. I'm hoping that it's a cabin. We'll find out in a minute, though.
Cabin plus sand. With Sand Ruby, you go there and you take a rest. That's like it. You just have to go out of your way to go and use it. Even gives a full heal.
This is very true. You do get a full heal from this, and more importantly, through the magic of sight and sound, Rosa finally learns exit. And you spike a Sand Ruby. And you know what? If you're Scar, you're like, you know what? That's a great check. I don't have to worry about, you know, Water Hag now. Or I don't have to worry about X or Y or Z.
So now that we've kind of gone through that, that means we kind of can, by process of elimination, know around where that Luke is. It's going to either be in that last arm chest, or it's going to be in the Sylph Treasury.
You are absolutely correct, sir. Your knowledge and attention to detail does not go unnoticed. As we do see Beauty is finally going to go down, and Donk being with that pan, and looks to be potentially in the driver's seat as long as he hits pan and not the apple. There we go. Let's see what our friends of Sylph give us. It's not a key item here, but they always have something fun for us here to give us. How about a Dragon Whip? Or do you need a Dragon Whip? No, I don't. That's good. All right, that's good.
The runners have already arrows if they wanted their anti-drag. As we can see Scythe's Sid going and doing almost 7,000 damage.
As indicated by Keladorn in chat, and I apologize for missing that, Scar actually is in go mode. He just needs to take care of business, as they say in the olden days.
Or 4 fights left for Scar. All of them, of those fights, they're all doable. They do have their own difficulties. Leviathans, it's a matter of getting the blinks on to survive the punches. Odin, it's a matter of either having enough HP to survive the Xantasuken or having enough damage to never see the Xantasuken. And we do see that Beauty found the tower key in Sylph, so this could be the Luke key, which would be a different sort of go mode for Beauty.
Absolutely, it would mean, I believe, not hard required darkness.
Yes. The only hope for required darkness for runners is if the Luca key is via the last arm and not the Sylph Treasury.
So you never know. Get your wagers out, chat, as Scar has woken up a duplicate Cecil, and now he has 2 Cecils who have merged into 1 Cecil, and they are probably off to the races thinking, oh my goodness, I'm in go mode. Let's go. Let's kill some bosses. Let's go to the moon. Let's get some levels, because we've seen some really hard bosses down here. Maybe there'll be some easier bosses up there, and I can get a lot more XP. Come back down and take care of those Baymarch bosses, and GG win the game. As we do see Fitz going through the Sylph Cave here, running into this these god-awful ghosts who just are more annoying than anything else. Casting fire to all over the place is just slow, annoying, gets the mute bell off, so that's always a good thing there.
We see that Scythe's the one thing that is kind of holding this Sid backness is for Scythe's side, the best bow he has is the archer bow. You really do hope to find at least an elven or samurai, but you really would love to have the Artemis bow because it does fix Sid's main issue of being rather slow. And we see that over in that little batch of chests is where the tower key was. And looks like the tower key did not to Luca.
No,
I didn't catch it, but
I didn't catch it either. I think our trackers were probably on top of that and would have mentioned it to us had that been the case. So I'm going to say it was just a pigtail. Thank you
yep,
so much.
and there we see. So now we're down to either poison side, last arm chest for the Luca.
Yep, as we do see Scythe with Odin with his sword in the air. We know that Sid will most likely, should Densuken get off here, that Sid would survive based on the low magic power in this spot. And it is the Sid show, but he's doing about, what was that, 3,800? Nope, he's
3,800. Scythe's worried about the punches.
Yeah,
Needs to either get at least a blink or push a little bit better damage if we're going to go with that route. I think what the main problem was is Rosa took a punch and that put her at low enough health that she wasn't able to survive the Sansuken.
That's true. So I would say a slight edge to Beauty here, as we do see Anna cheering on Edward, who is not around, to fight and be strong and just hopefully just win the day and get through. Unfortunately, Waterhag has a taste for Rydia, senses blood, and says, "No, you cannot blarg me."
This run's also looking... Well, we still have party members alive, and you can always... You can cut. Rosa and Kella going down does hurt a little bit for Scythe.
Absolutely, as Beauty does get through the more difficult of the two fights there, with two characters alive, and that's all you need. Because we don't fight Zeromus. Once you do reach that sixth objective, you have won the seed and won the match. So Beauty must be feeling as though he's behind, because he is just scrambling through very quickly and healing everybody up and not even saving. So he must think he's behind the 8 ball, but he is definitely ahead. Definitely very interesting. I don't hate it. It's speed run. You want to go fast.
The other thing is Val, at this stage, it's very tough for Val to be mean to this party. You have 3 people who know Blink, and Val goes and just alternates between doing things and punching. You can even take the punches. So just healing up, there isn't much need even to save. And so Beauty could also just simply be understanding that the party is just fine, but is also casting Bahamut and learning the sad news.
Absolutely, as we do see on Fitz's side, still not in go mode, but does have 4 objectives down. Still will be searching. We know where the Sand Ruby is. He'll need to travel up with that Earth Crystal, and the Luca Key we know is not in here. So Scar Scar being a bit behind at 2 is still ahead in my opinion, because it's going to take a lot for Fitz, I think, to go back through the hook route to get the darkness crystal. But what do you think, Judge Joe?
So at this point, I don't think we've seen music, so Fitz is going to do tower, is going to get the pan. Is after that, you have 3 choices. You have the back half of Sylph, because I believe Fitz half. You have the hook routes, and you have with the back half, you're also following the pan. Just gonna do the back half first. You have the hook routes too, and then you have Harp and Zot with potential side of the Flame Dog. It's a tough call which one I'd exactly go. I think I probably go for the route singleton trap chess, and I think it's a little so it's equal checks like the Harp and Zot, but it's probably quicker than the 2 of them. If you're feeling behind, you can definitely go work with the Sylph trap chess, and again, Zot and Harp are always options. It's tough to say when runners will choose to go. But we do see Scythe heading and will give us the knowledge of is this darkness required? And we see Beauty turning in pan, which gives the Legend Sword for Beauty's go mode. So just 1 flight down, give the Adamant Rock, talk to the guy, and Beauty will finish the seat.
Polkol loves forging some arrows out of a rock and a sword. Question in chat. Toshimo, pretty sure we did see Harp. Harp was unfortunately a Zong. In regards to that, we got to hear some rock and DKC tunes, but ultimately it ended up in a dead end, as Scar is going to go into Dwarf Castle. I don't believe he's checked this, so...
Scar's done, Dwarf. This is a shopping trip. Not certain what was here, but... has not grabbed Bahamut yet. Very important to get Bahamut.
Absolutely. 100%. Definitely a game changer in this seed. As we do have Beauty and Discovery finishing up Objective 5 and finishing with an official race bot time coming through, I'm sure, any second now. And a GG's in chat to Beauty. Official race spot time of 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 44 seconds. And we're joined in the booth by Beauty and Discovery. GG. Tell us what you thought of that scene.
Oh, I am so sorry. I had my settings all wonky. Can you say that again?
That's no problem. GG's, and congratulations on your win there.
Thank you so much.
Just wondered what you thought about the seed. It's not really a Datha special, but it had some fun.
Thank goodness. Last week or was it 2 weeks ago, I had a Dathis special, so I've had enough of those. So thank you, Dathis, for being kind to us tonight, relatively. But yeah, there was some spooky fights in this battle, but trust in Cecil and he'll get you there.
Absolutely. Cecil appeared to be the difference versus your opponent from you going up ordeals and getting Cecil online. I think that was the difference there in regards to that. So what'd you think about Water Hag there?
I liked it better than the Gauntlet, that's for sure. I mean, thankfully at that point, that was actually one of the reasons why I did Moon first, is I knew that whether it was Gauntlet or Water Hag, it was going to be tricky. And while Val isn't completely awful there, she will punch, and she will punch hard. So I figured, let me go test my mettle on the Moon, especially when I picked up Cecil and I could slingshot him with the hair dryers, and just really got somewhat lucky with those rolls outside of getting lucky with that Odin fight.
For sure. Any questions, Judge Joe?
I know it was you, right before you actually finished the seed, but how worried were you getting as you kept on checks and then discovered that the last check you really needed to do was simply Sheila?
Yeah, I think that's always the trickiest part when you're just that one key item from go mode. I looked over at my tracker and I realized literally the only 3 key items I was missing were the 3 I needed. And I'm just like, give me a break here. So it gets tough. It's like, what do you pick? You've got 7 checks in Sylph Cave. I still had the Magnus Zot Baron trio, which it turns out watching the scroll that Zot would have paid out for me. But yeah, it really comes down to like, where can I be most efficient? Because last week I feel like I lost because I picked the less efficient route, feeling behind and taking a gamble. And tonight I decided to stick with the numbers, and it paid off.
That's awesome. We are very excited for you to notch the victory. Looking just briefly ahead to the future here, as we put Potion Party to rest as we start to finish up week 4. What are you thinking about Moonveil Mixer coming up in weeks 5 to 8?
It's going to be fun to kind of return to somewhat quote unquote normal flags. I've been practicing Potion Party because when this came out, the whole T Money as Wild, Be Unfree, a lot of really interesting nuances. So just dove into practicing, and it's actually been quite a while since I played something where I'm going to have to actually get my loot from boxes. So I'll have to brush up over the weekend for sure, get myself de-rusted from that flag set, but very much looking forward to it. As lovely as this flag set is, I'm excited to get back to, like I said, quote unquote normalcy.
Excellent to hear. Any final thoughts you have?
Oh goodness, I think the only thing is my deodorant was not ready for that Maga Sisters fight, the Dwarf 2. I'm probably gonna have to take a shower after how much I was sweating with just poor little Rydia standing up there. But thank goodness, I couldn't believe how many turns they were getting. I was losing my mind. I'm like, oh, she gets punched down while I wait for Bahamut to go off. I'm gonna lose it.
That was pretty clutch. My heart rate was up here in the booth here, trying to figure out, is this Rydia gonna make it? Are these sisters actually going to do some damage? And you pulled that through, and definitely a big turning point in the seed.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. All right. Well, I think I got to go ahead and take my leave and leave everyone to watch the rest of the racers wrap up. Just a thank you so much to yourself, Nitsi and Judge Joe for commentary, Funnel Cakes and Garen for the tracking, and Dathis for the restream and rolling the seed. Much appreciate what the restream does and puts together such a fun show and an opportunity for everyone to watch. So have a good night, everyone, and thank you.
No, actually, Beauty, I meant to say thank you so much for putting this on. And for being one of our showcase runners. We can't do it without you, as I always say. Without you guys, it's just me and Judge Joe talking about how Leviathan sweeps things away for an hour and a half. So thank you so much, and good luck in your next week's match.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night. And that's Beauty and Discovery, everybody, our winner, and bringing Big Chocobo Storage Wars up to closer to 2-2. I will be quite honest with you. I'm not sure what the rest of his team is looking at. If they have won their required 2 matches out of 3 at this point, they do have 1 victory. Apparently, our newest member, Scala Kitty, using a site command. Fortunately, site command doesn't work, but hey, there you go, Eel. So that's excellent. We appreciate you helping us out in chat there. Let me just click on this link here. Hopefully it takes me somewhere legitimate, because I trust the person who posted it. And I'm going to click on match results.
And meanwhile, we see Scarcer is continuing with go mode, has completed the Water Hag. After this, Val just has to finish up 2 fights on the moon for his finish, whereas 1-3-5 still does not quite have go mode. That Luka key helps, but at this point, will still need to go and complete either Zot for the Sand Ruby, or go and find the Darkness Crystal and complete one of those. It's going to be close, because I don't know which one you go to first, but I don't know which is going to be faster either.
You and me both, Judge Joe. I'm just along for the ride here. I'm a passenger on the Free Enterprise Express, going boldly to wherever it wants to go. In regards to the matchups here, it looks as though that was the first match. It looks as though they're actually all going on at the same time, if I'm reading this properly. So won't spoil. No idea what's going on, but there is one notch towards Big Chocobo Storage Wars. Good luck to the other two matches that are going on in regards to that. So that's definitely exciting, and we'll see what happens, I'm sure, soon enough.
And Scythe has the package, so just head to beat his finish. So all of these racers are kind of approaching completion sooner rather than later, whether it's in go mode or being just that tiniest step away from go mode. If Fitz goes straight to Zot after this, he'll manage to just barely take the lead. But if he ends up going through too many rabbit holes, such as the harp, it's going to be tough, and it all depends on how tough that Luca Cave fight is. I don't think we've seen Golbez, and that fight's been known to ruin a day.
Agreed 100%. Have not seen... Golbez must be hiding somewhere else, which is probably great for our runner's sake, because you never want to see Golbez anywhere. That's important. Beyond that, we do see that these toads are about to be slooshed away as Fitz continues to dig through the amazing self-cave of happiness and value, where nothing ever seems to live, except for Zeus combo. What combo is making Rosa deal 6,000 damage to frogs? Judge Joe, can you answer that amazing question from chat from Firebird Lover? Because I have no idea.
Well, one, frogs do have reduced. The frogs mostly just have, I think, a little bit of... Probably... I'm not certain what all Rosa can have against the frogs themselves. I know that the Toad Lady herself is a mage. I don't know if the toads are. So it's possible it's just a very high roll with the Perseus arrows, or it could be just an effective damage. Because if that was just the toads.
Funnel Cakes in chat saying, are they considered mages? Well, they do cast toads, so the way this game is perfectly programmed, I wouldn't be surprised at all if toads were considered mages. Would not be surprised at all. As we do see, looks as though Fitz is going to go and get something. What is...
Pan.
Oh, he hasn't... That's right. Sorry.
Just finished up Sylph, so it's just going to be the Pan. And at this point, I think there is only two options left. The Harp Zot Quadrant, or going down the hook route to get the Darkness Crystal. It's going to be interesting which route Fitz goes, and whether it will pay off or not.
As the wiki has indicated to us, I really need to brush up on the wiki. They are reptile mages, so the album mode does check out in regards to that. That definitely makes sense.
The more we learn, and we see we're going to get a reprisal, which we know won't quite do it, but also puts Fitz in the area for the Sand Ruby. So still 2 fights left for Scarcer. I don't know who's going to finish first. There's still the Zot, there's still the Luca fight for Fitz, and then there's just this Paladin and this Odin.
It's still anyone's match in the teal section on the bottom, so it's I'd hold on to the edge of my seat if it wasn't an office chair. That's for sure. Again, make sure that you give all these runners follow and their love. I'm sure that they would appreciate it. They work really hard. Everybody's been working really hard to bring us amazing content and bringing these amazing races to you. So again, just make sure that you do give them a follow. And appreciate you so much, Scala, for doing all that you do. For as much as I was joking about being new, without yourself and without the amazing admin team, it would just be us here talking about Leviathan, washing things away. So thank you so much for all that you do there, as we are going to get some music.
And we see Scythe's finish come through with an official time of 1:04. GG's to Scythe. He will not be joining us for an interview tonight, but wish him a wonderful night, and we're very happy to watch him.
Absolutely. Again, without all these runners, it's just me and Judge Joe, just as I always love to say, just talking about washing stuff away for an hour and a half. So definitely GG to Scythe Marshall, and good luck to him in his next race, whether that be next week or if he gets a week off, like I have this week off. So that's always nice. And definitely look to the amazing content in the weeks to come. I'm sure that What's the Big Ordeals, still an amazing group of runners. We will definitely have not seen the end of them, that is for sure, and we wish them well in the future races. So again, GG to him.
And Scarcer gets through the Paladin, so all that's left is the final boss of this Odin. We'll see whether or not Scarcer is able to take it down, or if Fitz is able to finish this tower and Luca in time. As long as Scarcer is able to get through, should be able to get the win, but that Odin is a very tough fight.
Absolutely, that Odin is not a walk in the park. While it is doable if you're not set up for it, and especially there is a a hidden dynamic that you might not see as somebody watching these races and thinking, oh, they're racing against each other. Well, you see in the race room, speaking as a racer, you see those dot dones from the other two runners, and you think to yourself, man, it's me. If I'm Scar, I'm like, it's me against Fitz, and the other two runners have already completed. What am I missing? Am I going to see a dot done any second now? Literally any second. And I'm looking over, and hopefully it's tough to remain calm and stay in those races and stay focused and go, you know what? Even though I'm not against them, and even though I may have potentially made a small error here or there, I've got to remain focused and try and finish this as fast as I possibly can. So it's definitely not an easy road for either of our remaining runners, and I'm sure that they are both aware of that, and they are working as fast as they can to burn things down. That is for sure.
Looking at the Cecil's HP, the fact that he also damage, I do believe Scarcer is going to be able to, even if the Zamsuken comes out, this should be able to get the win afterwards.
Agreed, and it looks as though he is able to take down that Odin, completing everybody's favorite value, K Bahamut, and is going to come in just ahead of Fitz there, who was not that far behind at all. And Scar is going to finish in an official race spot time of 1 hour, 45 minutes, and some seconds. I'm sure it'll be in there. Hey, 37. Thank you so much, Dathis. You're amazing. And I believe Scarcer will be joining us in the booth here momentarily. And that ding tells me that we are joined in the booth by Scarcer. GG Scarcer, or Scar, as I learned today, sorry. I'm still new at this. Well-run race. Tell everybody what you thought of the scene.
It felt very quick. It always feels quick when you get a hook at the start.
Absolutely, 100%. Whenever you're given a divergent path, it always makes you wonder, if I run into a jet seed, what has this restreamer rolled for me? What do I do? So you definitely played it very well. Tell us your thinking there in terms of toughest fight that you thought you had on the seed there.
The toughest fight? Odin. I tried to take Odin too early. I forgot. I realized I didn't actually know how to do Thunderstruck strats after like 3 tries.
That's okay. You're not the first person to run into those challenges, and I'm definitely sure you won't be the last. So definitely, it's if you don't time it right, it doesn't work. So definitely no faults there in regards to that. That's for sure. Any thoughts? Any questions, Judge Joe?
What was your favorite? So we heard about what you felt was the toughest fight, but what do you find the most fun with this?
Water Hag at Leviathan. Whenever I've got Cecil and a boss that only punches, it's time to do cover strats.
Nicely done. It's always fun to do cover strats, blink strats. Lots of ways to just squeak by on a boss that your party might not look like it knows what it's doing, but it knew what it was doing. How did you feel about the Potion Party flag set over final races, and then how are you feeling about the up?
I really liked this Potion Party flag set. I like the sort of supermarket sweep vibes, where you just go grab a bunch of money and hit up the shops. And I'm looking forward in Moonveil Mixer to be able to cheese the free bosses.
Yeah, now that we've gone 4 weeks or more of just, oh no, it's a DKC. Oh no, it's the Baron Guards being able to go, I've got HP or I've got coffins.
Yeah. I feel like the Dark Imps have been the meanest overall.
That's fair. Put them in a punchy spot and it can be real tough to get by. GG's again on this race.
Thank
Yep.
you.
I was just so it's any final thoughts? I know it might be running a little late where you are.
Just thanks to all of you. We can't do this without people like Dathis on the restream, and people like Funnel Cakes and Guerin pressing buttons, and y'all commentating and making a spectacle out of me floundering around wondering what to do next.
Well, hey, as I always say, Scar, without you, without the runners, without all the amazing community together, this doesn't happen. So thank you so much for volunteering to be restreamed and to bring us this amazing content and these amazing races. We greatly appreciate it very much.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful night.
You too.
You as well. And it looks as though Fitz spiked the Luca key, and I unfortunately missed it. This is what happens.
The
when they
Luca key was over in the silver chest. Fitz got it right before hitting the pan and just held off because if you complete it as your last objective, you don't need to warp out. But we'll see how it goes. We have very angry Cecil. As long as we don't see a virus go his way, should be able to finish the fight. And looks like we are in fire phase, so should be right on through. Just as long as we don't burn to death.
Which I don't see happening at this point. There's too much damage being done. Even though Cecil's getting hit for about 25% each time, he's gonna take another swing here, and if not, Bahamut should be able to take care of the end of that. And there we go.
Fitz is through. It's GG's Fitz.
Yes, GG's to one free Fitz, finishing off in an official race spot time of 1 hour 51 minutes. It looked to be 42-ish seconds, but apparently it was 44. That can't count. That's okay. And so yeah, I think I'm not sure if he's going to be joining us in the booth or not. Oh, there he is.
There's the ding.
There's the ding. Welcome into the booth, Fitz. GG's on your race there. Tell us what you thought of the seed that Dathis was nice enough to pick up for us today.
First off, thanks for the GGs. I'm pretty proud of my effort today. I think that I had to wander around for a long time, and I was a little bit disappointed initially when I hit done, and I was like, oh, I didn't get the W. But I also think that, I fought the king and queen at like right around the hour mark, and I just needed darkness. I feel like I had the power to go to the moon and take on those bosses. I don't know, because I don't know what they were, but I never found it. And I went the other way that involves going almost everywhere. But overall, I felt pretty good, and I thought I was in control for most of the seed.
Yeah, very nicely done on those Feymarch fights. They can definitely prove pretty tricky, especially that water hag, but you managed to get by thanks to the power of Blink.
Yeah, indeed. I haven't had a couple Blink casters in my party in my recent practices, so I felt pretty confident because of that. And I decided to take them at earlier levels than I normally would.
That's definitely how this flag set plays out sometimes. There are some real low percentage plays in regards to that. Definitely a fun one for us to commentate here in the booth, and we appreciate you providing us with this amazing content and going through everything. Do you have any final thoughts? And also, what are your thoughts on the upcoming change to Moonveil Mixer from Potion Party that we've done for the last 4 weeks here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still really new, and so I'm always learning, and it'll be different things to learn. I haven't fought Z in a while, and I did do the Pink Puff League before that, but we only got Adamants in week 1, so I'm looking forward to the chance of actually getting my hands on one, because it's been like months since I've seen one that wasn't a brick that we would forge into something.
Absolutely.
It always
Sorry,
is fun
go ahead,
to,
Judge.
it always is fun to be able to just take the best piece of equipment in the game and kind of roll through some of the fights. It's going to be interesting to see how you and other runners are able to utilize the adamants to just push through the fights, and hope I'm looking forward to it, as well as I hope you are as too.
Yeah, definitely. I think I also like having the cursed ring again to be able to manipulate agility a little bit more. It can be hard sometimes. And this one I didn't have to really worry about it because I never found Artemis bows or Hail Rune robes, so I was just kind of working with the stock agilities for the most part, but I think that's another thing that I will have to refresh myself on.
I don't think you're the only one who's going to have to refresh yourself on. There's a lot of us. We've all been in the Potion Party mindset, and now we're going to have to quickly switch gears and get into the Moonveil Mixer mindset. So next week will definitely be interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But I guess final thought, I've been having a blast, been learning a lot. I just have fun racing, and sometimes I win, sometimes I don't, but I try not to think about that part too much.
It's definitely not a problem. We're more than happy to have you here, and appreciate you again being on the stream, and I hope you have yourself a wonderful evening.
Yeah, thank you. You as well.
Thank you. That's one free fits from Big Trouble in Little Kaipo. Joining us here in the booth. Looks as though final thoughts turn to Super Friday here on Free Enterprise and Free Enterprise 2, The Deuce. Coming up tomorrow is Noob Tree versus E-Ninja at 11 a.m. Eastern. Maybe that's 8 a.m. Pacific, or 3 p.m. GMT, and some other time in some other time zone. So that'll be coming up. We also have at 5 p.m. Eastern, Leggy Starscream versus Scratch Dragon, Unforceros versus Heartfeeders Anonymous. We have Zeke against Poidrak at 6:30 p.m. That'll be a Khadgar link. That'll be very exciting. Cryol versus RPG Mel 710 at 7 p.m. on the Deuce. Narukat against Soko Sonics also at 7 p.m. on your local Khadgar. So get your computer to blow up with all those streams. And then at 9 p.m. Here on the Free Enterprise Prime channel, it's Tybalt against Moleboy. So definitely very excited. Which race are you excited for tomorrow, Judge Joe?
Well, isn't the answer all of them?
Well, of course the answer is all of them, but I gotta ask. You know, I'm pretty sure it's in my contract somewhere.
I don't know. They all look like they could be very starting early, starting late.
It is
Hard for me to pick.
It is definitely a full day of Free Enterprise. That being said, I believe we are going to go over to Rex Banner. Speaking of Moonveil Mixer, he's doing some Moonveil Mixer practice. So on behalf of the entire Free Enterprise team, Dathis, Garen, Funnel Cakes, And Judge Joe, I believe we are going to throw it over to Rex Banner. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. Any final thoughts before we throw it over to Rex Banner, Judge Joe?
Thanks everyone for watching, and hope they
Thank you as well. And from my family to yours, I hope you all have a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, and we will see you all in the next match. Bye for now.